the possible future of transit in Durham, new management for the Durham Athletic Park, and an innovative initiative to address youth with mental health conditions. We invite you to join us now as we take you inside City Hall this week. Hello, I'm Amy Blaylock. Welcome to City Hall this week, dedicated to keeping you informed about what's going on inside Durham City Hall. There's more progress to report on the future of the Durham Wake and Durham Orange transit corridors. During its December 8th work session, the City Council received an update on the locally preferred alternatives for the corridors that have been recommended by Triangle Transit. The development of the alternative is required for the Metropolitan Planning Organization to apply for federal transit funds and is part of a process required by federal law.
There are things that the MPO is required to put in the locally preferred alternative and things that are nice to know but not required. The things that the MPO needs to decide on are the technology. Are we using bus? Are we using light rail? Are we using commuter rail? The endpoints, where does the line stop and start? And then the alignment, which is how the investment lays on the land.
The Durham Wake corridor would start near where Hillendale and the Rail Corridor and NC 147 meet.
About a half-mile north of Duke University and Duke Medical Center, proceeds through downtown Durham, through East Durham, RTP, Morrisville, Cary, Raleigh, and then out towards Garner and ends at a location, Greenfield Parkway in Wake County.
That project is based on commuter rail in order to build on a system that is already in place.
Commuter rail is very much like you see the Amtrak trains that come through here every day. They're rather heavy. They can operate in sort of a mixed traffic environment with freight trains. They're powered by fossil fuel locomotives and can achieve speeds up to 79 or 89 miles an hour. During service for commuter rail, they might be operating closer to 49, 59. Because we have some high-speed rail improvements coming into this area, our speeds might be higher than the average commuter rail operation in the United States. The recommended alignment is the North Carolina Railroad Corridor. It's there today. It's carrying trains on it right now.
For the Durham Orange Corridor, a light rail system is being recommended that would start at UNC Hospital and go toward the Friday Center.
We have a couple of alternatives of getting over towards the I-40 area and then up into the 15501 corridor in the area from Patterson Place down towards Sam's Club and Target near where the South Square Mall used to be, up to the Duke campus, and then into central Durham.
Most of the proposed route has received positive public feedback, but there has been one area that received mixed reviews.
Within the further western portion of the alignment, we have C1 and C2, and this is where I think there's less agreement over what the right choice is. C1 alignment uses an elevated station at the Friday Center and then proceeds through Meadowmont in Chapel Hill to Lee Village. The C2 alignment stays closer to the NC 54. The recommendation that we made in July of 2011 is that we recommend moving both of these to the next environmental impact assessment stage, and that it's sort of a C1 senior partner, C2 junior partner recommendation. I want to say up front that this isn't sort of a battle between good and bad. They both could work, and we made a recommendation of C1s over C2.
Taking all of that into account, the following recommendations have been made for advancing light rail service along the Durham Orange Corridor.
It's 17 stations along 17 miles. We anticipate just under 12,000 boardings in the year 2035. Though we are working with some of our consultants, and one of the things we've noticed with bus ridership, with gas prices being at what it is, we're on track to hit our 2035 bus ridership probably in the next 3 to 5 years. And so we might work with our consultants and with the Federal Transit Administration to see if we can capture some of that embrace of our existing bus service as we project rail ridership in the future. The end-to-end travel time is anticipated to be 35 minutes. The capital cost combined is just under $1.4 billion. Costs about $15 million a year to operate. Things that we'll be studying in great detail in preliminary engineering and in the environmental impact statement phase are further study of Little Creek area, which is sort of the Meadowmont, Hillmont C1, C2 choice, and also the New Hope Creek area, as if to see if there are any design options there that we could capitalize on if they can be brought to fruition. The Hamilton Road Station and Chapel Hill and Duke Medical Center Station, those are some of the stations where we don't exactly have the location figured out, but they can move a little bit, and that's okay.
After a public hearing on January 11th, the Metropolitan Planning Organization will consider all the comments they've received, both from the public and the local governments. A vote on the locally preferred alternatives is expected to be held on February 8th. For more information, visit ourtransitfuture.com. The city is also marking a successful first year of service for the Bull City Connector. The free bus service started in August of 2010, and as Transportation Director Mark Aronson recently reported to the City Council, there are several elements that were key to its success over the past year.
One of the things that needed to be simple. We want to make sure that the service was simple, that it was direct, and you couldn't be much more direct than it is operating from Duke to Golden Belt along Urban Road and Main Street with only a slight deviation to serve the Durham station and make connections with all the other data routes. It's frequent. The best service that data offers as part of its regular operation is 30-minute frequencies. This service operates 15 minutes from 6 a.m. in the morning till 6 p.m. in the evening, Monday through Friday, and then 20 minutes from 6 p.m. until midnight and on Saturdays. And the other thing, it's free to the rider.
As a result, the number of passengers using the bus service is continuing to grow.
Although it hasn't reached, we haven't hit what we had, our target for the first year. We're close. Our target was about 2,000 passengers a day after a year. We're right now around 1,700 or so per day.
A passenger survey completed last year showed that the Bull City Connector has high customer satisfaction with one primary area of concern: on-time performance.
We've had concerns and some complaints with buses not being on time. And quite honestly, this is a challenging route because of points I mentioned earlier about wanting to be direct and frequent. There's very little cushion. In our other routes, they're longer routes, there's more time built into those routes, so there's some recovery cushion in those. Bull City Connector doesn't have a lot of slack in it. So if a route gets behind schedule, it can be a challenge to make that up. But we've taken some steps to address the on-time performance. Just recently, we eliminated a few underutilized stops. We've adjusted the route slightly and also adjusted the schedule slightly. And working with the police department, one of the major contributors to the schedule delays was as buses travel through the downtown area, they frequently get behind a commercial vehicle that's blocking a lane, unloading and loading or serving businesses in the downtown area. And so we've been working with the police department to try to do, and they've been helpful in encouraging better enforcement to keep these travel lanes open and not delay the Bull City Connector. And as a result, the on-time performance has improved.
In addition, other steps are being taken to make sure the buses are running on time as well.
One that you witnessed recently was the implementation of the Go Live real-time arrival system. They've implemented a substitute bus at the Durham station so that if something starts running behind, they can actually deploy another bus if they need to do that. And then one of the things that we're working on, hope to implement shortly after the first of the year, is a signal priority system. This will be the first time where we've done this. We know we've got signal preemption equipment on our emergency response vehicles where they can actually preempt the signals. Well, we're going to actually try this on transit vehicles. They won't actually preempt the signal, but they will be able to be given priority at the signal, either bring up the green a little sooner or hold it a little longer so that they can actually get through a signal. It won't have a huge impact, but it might save 30, 45, 60, minute and a half on a route, and that may be enough to help it get on schedule. We're doing this just on 3 signals that are on the city's signal system, so we don't have to ask permission from anybody, NCDOT, to do that. And hopefully we'll use that as a model that after we've developed the protocol associated with the use, that we could extend to other signals along the route and elsewhere in the city. The other thing that we're doing, working with a Bull City Advisory Council, which is a group of retail and restaurant owners, small businesses, major employers, and other city staff, to establish some marketing opportunities along the Bull City Connector route, develop some relationships of the businesses and establish along there so that there can be mutual promotion of both the businesses and the Bull City Connector, and hopefully encourage the use of the service in that way.
For more information about the Bull City Connector, visit bullcityconnector.org. The city is encouraging more economic development in the downtown area through the award of 4 building improvement grants. The grants are to be used to upgrade and revitalize commercial buildings in order to attract additional investment and help with overall economic improvement in the city. To that end, ANMAC Multimedia Properties is receiving $62,000 for a building renovation project at 112 Hunt Street. The project includes the conversion of a vacant industrial space into a retail facility. The building is expected to house a film and video production center with space for public performances, a beauty salon, and a wine bar. Velocity will receive a $75,000 grant for a project at 106 West Paris Street. The project will renovate a deteriorated building in the Paris Street project area to make it rental ready for ground floor retail use and for office and residential use on the building's 2nd and 3rd floors. The building has been vacant for 10 years. A $70,000 grant is being awarded to Atlas Foster Real Estate Holdings for a renovation project at 733 Foster Street. The property will be developed for ground floor retail use by a restaurant with additional rental space for offices and other professional services. And Hutchins Properties will use a $70,000 grant to turn a currently vacant former auto repair facility at 408 West Gear Street into a restaurant and ready for ground floor retail use. Office space will also be available. A second group of so-called donut hole properties is being considered for annexation by the city. The annexation of several rights-of-way was completed earlier this year, and now a second phase is underway involving parcels with minimal service impacts. A donut hole refers to properties that are surrounded by the city limits that have not been made part of the contiguous city. The City Council has adopted a resolution of consideration for annexation for the parcels, which must be in place for at least a year before further action can be taken. All of the donut holes that the city has been trying to address consist of 753 total acres with a total assessed tax value of $71 million. The future of the Durham Athletic Park is changing course. Find out how when City Hall this week continues.
Without gun violence, people are whole. Without gun violence, families are intact. Without gun violence, communities are solid. Without gun violence, futures are secure.
Together, we can reverse the effects of gun violence in our community.
Join Project Safe Neighborhoods campaign in the fight against gun crime.
A message from the City of Durham Police Department.
Get on board the Bull City Connector, a fare-free route connecting Durham from the innovation of Duke to the history of downtown to the creativity of Golden Belt. The Bull City Connector is fare-free, frequent, and fun, connecting visitors, business travelers, students, and downtown workers to key destinations in and around Durham. So get on board the Bull City Connector Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to midnight, plus Saturdays and holidays. For more information, call 485-RIDE or visit bullcityconnector.org.
Welcome back. The Durham Athletic Park is under new management, at least for the short term. The City Council approved an operating agreement with the Durham Bulls to take over operations of the facility from minor league baseball.
Minor league baseball served as the park operator from August 1st, 2009 through December 31st, 2011. Essentially, they performed these major functions. They provided day-to-day operational support for North Carolina Central University home games, for Durham's School of the Arts home games, as well as American Legion baseball games. They also provided other operational support for other baseball-related events, such as baseball tournaments with out-of-town teams, mostly high schools and summer leagues and so forth. And they solicited advertisements and sponsorships, and also tried to solicit different organizations having their community events at the park.
In September, Minor League Baseball told the city that it did not plan to renew its operating agreement, which was supposed to have been in effect through August of this year.
We suspect that financial losses that they had incurred during their tenure as operator, as well as the fact that a minor league baseball museum was not constructed as originally hoped, may have contributed to their decision.
In November, the league asked the Durham Bulls baseball club to take over management of the facility.
The Bulls have took over officially as of January 1st, and they will operate the park through August 31st, 2012. Essentially, they'll perform similar functions to what minor league baseball had performed, we have begun the process of selecting a new operator after August 31st. Not certain whether that will be the Bulls or another entity, but right now their agreement is for the first 8 months of the year.
While it's not clear yet who will manage the athletic park in the long run, the city leaders say the facility will remain a vital part of the Durham community. A powerful new initiative geared towards supporting youth with serious mental health conditions is getting off the ground in Durham. The program, called Becoming Durham, targets youth who are considered to be at a transitional age in their life.
Becoming Durham is a 6-year federally funded grant targeting 16 to 21-year-olds who have a serious mental health issue, as well as other types of social and life challenges, including dropping out of high school, unemployment, homelessness, criminal justice involvement, pregnant or parenting, exiting out of foster care or other types of institutional placements, and are just having difficulties making a successful transition into adulthood.
Program organizers say making sure this group has the support and services it needs is important because these youth are extremely vulnerable.
One of the reasons that we were concerned about this age group in particular as a community is because of the high rates of school dropout. Almost 40% of young people drop out of school every year here in Durham, and most of them are never able to be recovered into some other type of educational coursework. In terms of criminal justice involvement, there's a high rate of criminal justice involvement with this age group in particular. And there's many social reasons for that, but one of the reasons that compelled us to partner with law enforcement on this is because for those that have mental health issues, that often contributes to criminal activity. And so by partnering together to offer diversions into treatment as opposed to arrest and incarceration, we're hoping to make an impact for this age group in particular, who are still fairly young in their criminal histories as well as their mental health symptoms. And so it's much easier at this age group developmentally and clinically to see some better life outcomes.
Toward that end, the police department is committing 2 full-time officers to work with a clinical case manager from Becoming Durham.
Well, law enforcement is the first response usually to people in crisis. 16 to 21-year-olds become involved either through 911 calls or through arrest. And we want law enforcement officers to refer these youth that are having life issues to our unit so we can refer them to services.
By the end of 2016, the department will have contributed at least $933,000 to the initiative. Money, the department says, will have been well spent.
We hope to reduce criminal behavior and get these youth involved in more productive roles for the city of Durham.
The program is enrolling participants now and will accept referrals from anyone.
We will determine their mental health diagnosis. If you just suspect that they have a mental health issue, or you're concerned about kind of where they are in their life and are looking for resources and services to help them make some of those improvements, call 560-7100 and just ask to speak with someone from Becoming.
You can also visit becomingdurham.org. The city is taking a new approach to handling failed and struggling developments. Find out how new guidelines are expected to help better address the issue when City Hall this week continues.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. New guidelines are now in place for the way the city will be handling failed and struggling developments. When a new development is being built, the developer is responsible for installing all of the utilities and for the completion of the streets and sidewalks. When all of the work is completed, the homes can receive certificates of occupancy, or COs. But in many cases, it is better for the developer to leave some of the work incomplete. In these cases, Public Works accommodates this by allowing the developer to post a construction security rather than complete the work, and then some portion of the certificates can be issued. When the development is completed, the construction security is returned. If the development isn't finished, the construction security can be collected to complete the missing work. Since the city has had to deal with more developments left incomplete because of current economic conditions, changes needed to be made to the construction securities policies. The first set of changes deals with future developments or those already under construction.
There are the construction securities that are necessary for the streets and basic infrastructure to construct a subdivision. And then there is a separate policy to deal specifically with the stormwater facilities that may be required as a part of the development.
Regarding the streets and basic infrastructure, there are two options that a developer may choose to use.
The first option is that they complete the street at the beginning of the project and then complete all of their, after they've completed their infrastructure, to start building homes, for instance, in a residential development. And at the beginning of this, you would complete all your infrastructure and then you would provide a warranty security. So essentially the purpose of that would be, as the facility is built out and the infrastructure is brand new, when you roll construction traffic through it, you stand the opportunity for damage as a result of heavy equipment, loading and unloading materials to construct residential houses, things of that nature. A lot of the large scale trucks that bring in occasionally will break curb and other things as that nature. And that warranty security would be to deal with those in the event something happened and the developer was unable to complete them, the repairs. The second option that we have, which is a more common way that subdivisions are currently built, is to build almost all of the infrastructure, but to leave off the last coating of asphalt. And what that does is allows them to pass the construction traffic through, and if you have breakages and things of that nature, you can fix those repairs in the street, and then at the very tail end of the project, you would have the ability to come in and place that surface coat so you have that nice finished complete look with no patchwork on the streets. So once that is done, in all of these things you have thresholds that have to occur. You can only build so many houses, residential houses, in a phase of a subdivision before you have to complete the infrastructure. Once that infrastructure is completed, you then move from a construction security into that warranty security to continue.
The revised stormwater policy had to deal with the fact that stormwater controls are being used now as both water quality devices and for flood control.
So in order to deal with that, we have looked at, prior to first CO issuance for any residential subdivision, you will place a full construction security, as if the facility is unbuilt, in place. And that will stay for the life of the project until you have reached 85% of your COs. And at the 85% mark, you must complete that CO fully built out.
For the failed developments, Public Works will start presenting specific recommendations to the City Council that will allow the city to repair and pave the streets, while assessing homeowners in the development most of the cost of the repairs. A new contract has now been awarded for the continued monitoring and compliance services required at the city's closed sanitary landfill. The landfill is located at 2115 East Club Boulevard and was closed in 1998. Groundwater monitoring on a semi-annual basis at the landfill is required by the state for at least 30 years after the landfill was closed. Quarterly landfill gas monitoring is also required. The $148,000 contract will cover a 4-year term of service. If you're trying to figure out what to do with all those leaves you've finally gotten out of your yard, here's a reminder from the city. Properly disposing of them, as well as grass clippings and other yard waste debris, can help to prevent clogged storm drains and polluted waterways. Here are some options for proper yard waste disposal. Place leaves and other yard debris in the brown yard waste cart for curbside collection. Dispose of leaves at the city's waste disposal and recycling center. Mulch leaves in the yard with a lawnmower. Rake leaves and put them in a home compost pile. Hire a landscape maintenance firm that properly disposes of yard waste. And do not burn leaves within the city limits. For more information about Durham's yard waste program, visit the city's website or call 560-1200. Durham's work toward going green is gaining more recognition. Find out why this latest honor is something we should all be proud of when City Hall This Week continues.
Just close my eyes and I'm with you, and all that I so wanna give you, it's only a
You don't have to be a hero to be a hero. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Welcome back. An overview of how your tax dollars are being put to work for you is now available. The 2011 Citizens Financial Report focuses on the theme of building a stronger community. Included in the report are highlights of how the city managed your money last year to work toward that goal. If you'd like to download a copy of the report, simply visit the Finance Department's homepage on the city's website. There was more recognition for Durham's effort to go green. The city and county were honored as the Green Municipality of the Year at the Green NC Symposium in December. The event was sponsored by the Triangle chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council. The council promotes green building practices, technologies, policies, and standards through 75 chapters across the country. Here's a reminder about the city's schedule for the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Most city offices will be closed Monday, January 16th. There will be no trash and recycling services on Monday, January 16th. Collection will instead occur on Tuesday, January 17th. Solid waste collection of trash, recycling, bulky items, and yard waste will then be delayed by 1 day through Monday, January 23rd, when all collections will be caught up. For more information about the holiday schedule, contact Durham One Call at 560-1200 or visit the city's website. The Solid Waste Management Department will also collect Christmas trees from all solid waste customers through Friday, March 2nd. Trees should be placed at the curb by 7 a.m. on your normal garbage collection day. For more information about tree collection, contact Durham One Call at 560-1200. That does it for this edition of City Hall This Week. Be sure to like DTV8 on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to find out how you can tune into this show, City Life, and all the city's programming. You can also find us on demand on the city's website at durhamnc.gov/DTV8. I'm Amy Blaylock. Thank you for joining us for City Hall This Week.